what started the journey for you in terms of Uuna? What was it that made you go, actually, look, I'm going to give this a go myself, and this is what I want to do?
Because I have this incredible network of really talented, smart people who are excellent at delivering change. And I was on holiday, sat on a sunbed, and I thought, if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. So I turned 40 and thought, gosh, what would happen if we got all these really smart people together?
Yeah,
And instead of being one contractor siloed in an organization delivering something, you're actually a team of people, and you can leverage the best parts that people bring for that client in a really flexible way. And that's game changing. So I always use the example of, you don't necessarily need 5 days of a change manager. What's better is, 2 days of a kind of strategic change council person, maybe 2 days of a change manager, and 1 day of an OD specialist or a change specialist or a narrative specialist, and that flexes over the month. But to be able to pivot in that way for the client, you just get to the heart of what they really need and can deliver quicker and better. And then, of course, like 10 brains are better than one, right? Because we've got, and everyone's done it and got different wounds and stories to tell, and industry experience as well, that we can stand back and say, all right, there's a better way of doing this, or if this is that client's unique context, this is what we could do differently. And if you're just one person, it's sometimes hard to spot that. So that's working really well in terms of that mixed, bringing what everyone's best at out.
and I guess that comes up with the consultative approach as well, of you identifying what those needs are, and then putting the right team in there to deliver, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So our model's based on, well, I first say it's based on kindness, but it's based on really deep listening. Like understanding what it is, like what's the context, what's the culture, how has change landed before, to really come up with a solution that's right and the approach that's right. It's like, here's a pool of principles, and then we pull out the right principles and flex them and adapt them to that client.
Well, that leads me very nicely onto, I think, the first question. So if you could tell me now, obviously you've told me the story of like how it all started, and it'll be interesting to hear a bit of a timeline as well, but tell me about your consultancy and the services you provide.
Sure. So Uuna, so the name is based on the Latin word for together. And so we help businesses to deliver people and data-led change solutions that are deeply tailored to them. So we're a hand-picked community of transformation, change, and communication specialists. And then our vision is to improve the employee experience of change across the world, one nudge at a time. So in 5 years' time, we'd like to further scaled, helping even more clients to do so.
Brilliant. And obviously we talked a little bit there about when you had the idea of starting yourself.
Yeah.
And then obviously it was quite a bit before, well, not that long before, until we started working together. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear the build up to speaking with us and using our funding, and what challenges you faced prior to using Sonovate.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, firstly, managing invoicing and payments is a time-intensive job, particularly across multiple clients with varying payment terms. So some, as you know, are as long as 60 plus days, which means you need 3 months of cash flow to make sure everyone's paid on time in thanks for their brilliant efforts. And of course, as your team expands quickly, which it was doing, it becomes more challenging.
Yeah. And with that challenge, I mean, because that's something I'm really interested in hearing more about, because quite often people come to us when there is that cash flow need or that gap because of the need for working capital, which is obviously something we can support with. But what really gets us excited about what we can deliver is not only the support with working capital, but also the funds for growth. And that comes in two ways. One, by giving you your profit margins in advance, and obviously your working capital, but also giving you that certainty around knowing when your invoices are going to be paid, because you just know that those invoices are going to be paid. So it means you can take on those new projects or new clients, whether they are larger or even longer payment terms, without worrying about the cash flow implications. So how did we help with those challenges?
Well, I think it's knowing that we can deliver for the client, so we can scale. We can bring in new hand-picked consultants who fit with our values, because we know that we can pay them on time. So it's kind of looking after that human aspect while at the same time delivering for the client. So by working with you, we've got that certainty that we can do the two really well, deliver for the client with the right people, scaling our team, but also look after those people.
Yeah.
We've got certainty that we can pay them on time in thanks for their efforts and their contributions.
And that's huge as well, especially, you mentioned early on in the conversation, you were saying how, you started this business off the back of having a network there of what you kind of brilliant people. So obviously that sounds like a network that you're closely connected with, maybe rather than, random contractors, for instance. So being able to make sure that you can pay them on time is obviously key. And then also ultimately, as you grow and as I've heard from a lot of consultancies in terms of retaining talent, not having to have that awkwardness maybe, or having to do a paid when paid contract and then a client not paying in time and that sort of thing. It enables you to really retain the good people that help you to grow your business. I know obviously when we were originally speaking, you were speaking to other financiers. So I'm really, really keen to hear about why you chose Sonovate over a traditional lender.
So from the very first conversation, Sonovate were a pleasure and really easy to work with. So from the flexibility of the package you could offer us to fit our bespoke needs, right through to the personable and considered and really valuable support you've given us working together, there's been such a fit with our own values at Uuna. And then your platform is intuitive and easy to use, and behind it, there's a great team looking after our needs. So we've been fully supported. All our queries and questions, they've been answered in a very personal way, and we're grateful for that. And it's been really fun to work together. So a special thanks, Oscar, to you and Harry and the whole team.
No, I appreciate that, and I definitely let Harry know he is I think externally and internally. So I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you to say, but no, I'm glad that you've had that experience. So with Sonovate in place, what does this mean for the future of your consultancy?
So ultimately, the service has enabled us to be more efficient in how we run our business and to be able to scale our team to deliver value for our clients quickly, because we've got the right cash flow in place to pay people on time for their great contributions. And I'm ridiculously excited about our future at Uuna. So we're on this purpose-driven mission to help more leaders deliver brilliant change for their people. So enabling strategy and business outcomes in a collaborative way, and we can't wait to do that. And then working with Sonovate, it allows us to bring new hand-picked experts and specialists into our team who fit with our values when the clients need them.
Brilliant. And you know what, it's what I really enjoy about this job, is supporting businesses in terms of enabling them to achieve their ambitions. And like I said, like I said originally, there tends to be a certain point that people come to us because, and I think it comes down to because we are an invoice financier. So there's an idea of what that service is, and that as we've disrupted that market, it's people don't often expect what we can deliver, what we can actually deliver. And to hear you say that there's that excitement and that ambition and excitement all rolled into one, and kind of an idea of what can be achieved in the future, is really brilliant to hear.
Yeah. It's effortless. It really is effortless. The service end to end.